Big fella, by any chance, did you have any time to look at Nafisha Coyer's statement? Because when I looked at it, even though Asia Wilson rightfully so is the MVP, if you want to make an argument for Nafisha Collier as the real MVP, because she pulled out them receipts on the WNBA commissioner Kathy Engelbert. And let me read you one of the things that she told in that press conference, the conversation that she had with the WNBA commissioner Kathy Engelbert. Nafisha Collier asked Kathy Engelbert how she planned to fix the fact that Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Paige Bueckers, who are clearly driving massive revenue for the league and making so little for their first 4 years. According to Nafisha Collier, Kathy Engelbert's response was, quote, Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court because without the platform the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't be making anything. Then on top of that, Nafisha calling her the Collier, calling the commissioner the worst leader in sports. And I got to be honest with you, champ. It's no wonder why the WNBA hasn't been evolving and why the WNBA players are making so little money, because that type of philosophy by the WNBA commissioner. And I find it hard to believe that Nafisha Collier would be fabricating this, because she the vice president of the WNBA?
Yeah, she's the vice president. Her and Breonna Stewart.
Right.
They're the president and the vice presidents of the WNBA Players Association, and they're also the founders of Unrivaled. So if you really, really look at it, they are. Look, I'm gonna just be real. The reason why you could say Nafisha Collier knows what she's talking about is because right now the Unrivaled, they went from the league that her and Breonna Stewart and a couple of investors started. That league is now worth over $300 million, and they've only been in business for 1 year. So if anybody knows what they're talking about as far as business is concerned and what it takes in order to make business to go up, it's Nafisha Collier and Breonna Stewart. Matter of fact, after that press conference, they were scheduled to have a meeting, her and Kathy Engelberger, and Nafisha Collier abruptly canceled the meeting. So I will find it hard to believe that Nafisha Collier would be a liar or fabricate a story. And it doesn't seem like the WNBA players respect
Kathy Engelbert. Not at all. I mean, look at the comments from Asia Wilson to a lot of them players. And Nafisha Collier is very well liked and respected by her contemporaries.
Yes.
But I am not surprised at all that Nafisha Collier would say this, champ, because it's no wonder why the WNBA can't evolve. And remember, they got until Halloween with this new CBA. So they better figure out which type of commissioner do they need in order for the sport to grow and evolve. Now, clearly, champ, we don't expect the WNBA to make as much money like the NFL, the NBA, the MLB. However, we do expect them to make a lot more money than what they're currently given. And the thing is, when you have that type of philosophy from the commissioner, now she can deny it all she wants, but nobody ain't buying it. I mean, her denying it is like you trying to deny a good piece of chicken and ribs and some collard greens on the side. Ain't nobody going to deny that.
No.
With by the way, some sweet potato pie for dessert. But Nafisha Collier knows what she's talking about. She's smart. I find it hard to believe that she would be making this stuff up. She had the receipts. So if you're Kathy Engelbert, and I've talked to one of my friends at work, they've even suggested, hey, look, with the WNBA, if we want to try to grow and evolve the product, why don't we do once a month meetings with the executives so that we can determine, okay, what we want to do as far as growing and evolving the business. And the executives don't even care. Did you hear what Sophia Cunningham had to say regarding the executives?
Yeah, nobody respects any of the executives that's in the WNBA, and it's just evident how they address them. It's evident how they address the commissioner. Have you ever heard a player in the NBA address, David Stern as David?
Not at all.
Have you ever heard anybody, even Adam Silver, have you ever heard anybody just address him as Adam? No. Have you ever heard outside of James Harrison, and you know how comical Chad Ochocinco is, God bless him, you never hear anybody address Roger Goodell as Roger.
The
It's
only
either
time
Roger Goodell.
Ocho calls him dad. Dad.
Yeah, Ocho calls him daddy, but again, he had, and again, even Ocho
But he likes the
said,
commissioner. He loves the commissioner, so it's a
yeah,
mutual respect thing.
yeah, and he has him in his phone, says that his dad. So yeah, I mean, outside of James Harrison, which everybody calls Debo because you know he got fined more than anybody during Roger Goodell's tenure, and Ocho Cinco, which it's out of respect. You don't hear anybody call Roger Goodell Roger. You call them either Roger Goodell, Mr. Goodell, or Commissioner Goodell. You can tell how they don't respect Kathy Engelberger, how they address her. It's always Kathy. It's like I've never heard of an authority figure being addressed as their first name. I've never heard that. Even with David Stern, even when certain things happened with David Stern that they didn't agree with, well, Commissioner Stern or David Stern, it was never on a first name basis. And they have to get it together because not only do they have this new TV deal with ESPN and Ion coming up, they just signed another one with the USA Network that's going to air WNBA games, and they're going to have double headers every single Wednesday.
Which is I think it's good, and not only that, they have ESPN. They also have CBS Sports because they're showing the games on CBS Sports. So now with USA Today, and on top of that, with USA Today, I mean, look, Raw's on Netflix now, and they're only showing Raw on SmackDowns on Friday nights, and of course, let's not forget the NXT. So my thing is with the WNBA. I mean, I gotta give major kudos to Nafisa Collier. And to your point, Champ, the players around the WNBA, they know what's up. They know that they don't. That Kathy Engelbert is not their cup of tea, and the statements from Nafisa Collier are so profound. So if you're the WNBA and if you're the executives, what are you going to try to do in order to get her out of the WNBA? Because the thing is, if you're not growing, if you're not evolving with that type of philosophy, well, how is the sport going to market? How are you going to make revenue? And when you hear Nafisa Collier saying Caitlin should be thankful she's making $16 million off the court. Look, we've had criticism of Caitlin Clark, the WNBA player, Champ, but she was already a commodity long before the WNBA with the NIL deals, back-to-back national championship appearances at the University of Iowa. Angel Reese, say whatever you want about Angel Reese, good or bad. Hey, she can ball and she brings revenue. Obviously, with her sneaker deal with Reebok, her podcast, the Unapologetic podcast, you know, the celebrities that she has on her show, whether Cam Newton, Mariah the Scientist, Lotto, whoever it is. And Paige Bueckers, the reigning rookie of the year, the #1 overall pick of Dallas. So what's going to happen with the future generations? Because unfortunately, Juju Watkins, she's going to be out for the remainder of the season, but she's going to be projected to be a top pick, maybe the #1 overall pick. And if it continues to keep on going like this, I think the WNBA needs to find a way to get rid of her because the players don't respect her. The players don't appreciate her. Obviously, she's not doing anything on her part to grow and evolve. So my thing is, why keep her?
What they need is they need a David Stern.
You mentioned that.
David Stern. They need a David Stern in the worst way. They need somebody who's going to not only be on the side of the executive and the owners, but also is player friendly. They need someone who's going to, a commissioner who's going to be able to market the WNBA, market its players, and market its stars. Right now, this is some of the best college basketball we've seen in women's sports history as far as the social media era goes. This is some of the best college basketball, and it trickles down. It's kind of like how how college football does to the NFL. You have all-time greats in the college basketball as far as the women's is concerned, and they're just being formed right to the WNBA. And you need someone like a David Stern in order to market this product. Right now, you have TV deals out there, you know what. And it's quite ironic that right about now, it's on USA Network because guess what? women's wrestling is more popular than the men right about now. Let's just keep it all the way a buck. Let's just keep it all the way a buck. They're right on par with the men as far as popularity is concerned, women's wrestling. So when you put that on alongside of wrestling, then guess what? You're going to get a lot of eyeballs looking
viewers.
over. Yeah, you're going to get a lot of eyeballs looking at the product. So USA Network has always been known as the wrestling network because of the WWE. Now you're able to put another product on there in order to bring viewership to the network. So especially with a double header every single Wednesday, that is chef kiss. You gotta give that. But in order for that to work, you need someone who's gonna market the games, who's gonna market the product. When Asia Wilson plays Caitlin Clark, there needs to be a promo for it. She's the best player.
Or Nafisha Collier facing Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark. There needs to be a promo for it. There needs to be a promo for every single game. There needs to be build up to the game. There needs to be storyline. There needs to be viewership put out. There needs to be advertising for WNBA League Pass. There needs to be certain shows that are advertised on WNBA League Pass in order for us, the audience, in order to pay attention to. So there needs to be a lot of adjustments with either the commissioner, the current commissioner, or they need a David Stern-like personality that can get them to that level. Because right now, for her to say that Caitlin Clark should be grateful that she is making $16 million outside of the W, that's kind of a farce, if you really want me to be honest with you. Because without Caitlin Clark, without Angel Reese, without a lot of these new players, there is no viewership at this point. They paved the way in order for us to be talking about it today. Now, the thing is, hardcore fans like myself, like you, like BRL, we've been watching since the day was long. Now, we understand what the WNBA was and what the players before her did. But in the social media era, there's no one more important right about now than Caitlin Clark. Because guess what? She brought the viewers in from the college basketball tournament that she had. She was able to beat South Carolina, and then the year after that, she was able
where does she play, champ? Where does she play? Indiana, because you've made the argument, Indiana, great basketball state.
Yes, great basketball state. Hell of a sports state, too, because the thing is, the Indiana Fever went to the semifinals. The Indiana Pacers went to the finals, not to mention you got Indiana Jones and Daniel Jones out there lighting it up like a Christmas tree in December on the football field. So it's a hell of a time in order to be an Indiana sports fan. So, and like I stated, the revenue was up and Caitlin Clark wasn't even there this year. It increased like 145% this year, and the demand for tickets went up just as high. So when you think about that, on top of the fact that Caitlin Clark has not been there all season long, imagine what it's going to be once she comes back.
Healthy.
Yes, once she comes back and she's healthy. So for Kathy Engelberger to say something like that, you can have your criticisms of Caitlin Clark, and it's not necessarily Caitlin Clark. You can have criticism of the fans and the people who follow Caitlin Clark, but you cannot deny what Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Paige Becker has done for this game. And for her to say something like that is asinine. And for a player like Nafisha Collier to pull out the receipts and say that you said something like that, for you to let something come out of your mouth, knowing how intelligent that you are as a commissioner, because those commissioners, they have Juris Doctor degrees. They are lawyers. They have to know exactly what they're talking about when they go into these marketing meetings and things of that nature. So for you to be that well educated in order to let something come out of your mouth like that, that just goes to show you that some people graduate but be still crazy at a certain point.
It's very alarming. And I just think the question is who's going to be the new commissioner? Which person that do you think, you mentioned that they need a David Stern type of person, or maybe a Roger Goodell or something like that. They need somebody who really cares about doing whatever they can to get people to watch the product. Because you look at Roger Goodell, good or bad, say what you want about Roger Goodell. One thing about him is he's going to find a way to promote. And he's going to try to get casual fans to come watch the NFL. Whether you're a diehard football fan or not, you're going to come in and watch the football and stuff.